Welcome to the first edition of the Platinum Pinfall. 1, 2, 3. Quick thoughts about pro wrestling. First of all, rest in peace to Road Warrior Animal. Love that guy. Got into a discussion with a friend today, a good friend of mine, and he posed the question, well, because I was complaining that the Road Warriors on lists that I've seen lately were not listed amongst the greatest tag teams of all time. And so he's like, well, where would you put them? And I said, 3. And he said, okay, so you'd put the Road Warriors at 1. And he goes, I said, no, 3. 3's right. So 3, Road Warriors at 3. And then he assumed correctly that the other 2 that I would have would be the Midnight Express and the Rock and Roll Express. Something I noticed right away when I was talking with this friend of mine about the Road Warriors, the Midnight Express, and the Rock and Roll Express was this. These 3 teams are also the most copied teams in the last 20 to 30 years. How many variations of the Rock and Roll Express have we seen? How many people have cribbed stuff or this idea of double team moves taken to the extreme from the Midnight Express? And of course, how many variations on the tough guy, blow him out of the water tag teams have we seen after the Road Warriors? Truly an incredible legacy. The Road Warriors are on the top for me, and they're in my top 5 favorites as well. No team will ever match what the Road Warriors had in a tag team, where the simple strains of their opening music, the excitement of them coming to the ring, the way they demolished jabronis, down to the big money matches that they had. And a friend of mine also reminded me of this simple fact, if you have any questions about their legacy. It's called a Road Warrior pop. Story number 2. It is this guy's birthday. No, not me. The guy who's bleeding right there. Let me find a better picture of him. That's better. Jeff G. Bailey. Happy birthday, Jeff G. Bailey. What I have to say about him is really short and really sweet. If you've gotten to work with him in any capacity, even if you're a young guy at Southern Honor, who never got to do a show with him per se, but he has a bit of advice for you. No matter who you are, if you had contact with this guy, I'm just going to say it as simply as I can. Jeff G is one of the best managers, period. And if you got to work with him, you got to work with a world-class talent. And he should be remembered and be treated accordingly. And he's still, by the way, contributing to wrestling. That podcast that he does about Wildside that he's such a big part of, and who knows what other projects he's going to be involved with in the future. This guy is incredible. I would have never thought he and I would have become friends, but friends we are indeed. And so if you want to call that a bias, I guess you can. But at the end of the day, almost everybody who is doing the manager thing is but a tiny fraction of the talent that this guy was. The people that I train now, as far as talking and being a manager, guess who's on that very short list of people that I have them look at? And even if you look at the guy who's the current manager of the year in the state of Georgia, Matt Hankins, you know the first person Matt Hankins is going to give credit to and cite as an influence? This guy. Happy birthday, Jeff G. Bailey. I suspect that even though people know that you're great, that we still don't know how good we have it. But I think 2020 is a great year for us to let you know the legend that we know you to be. All right. Last thing. Oh, look out. Retribution. Are they going to mess with the camera? Okay, let's put them up there. Here. Retribution. Myron, I believe, of the Tapped Out guys put up the funny meme of everybody pointing their swords. Why don't I just put it here? Hopefully I can find it and put it there. Yes, everybody's in agreement that Retribution is horrible. It's the one thing everybody in wrestling can get behind. Yes, Retribution is terrible. Except for maybe Bruce Pritchard and the Bruce Pritchard podcast. We'll have to see about that. But Retribution is awful, we can all agree. But here's a point of view that I bet you haven't heard yet, and it's something that I thought of today. The reason that people, especially in wrestling, especially in indie wrestling, are making fun of and hate Retribution so much is because all of those things that we hate Retribution for, they wear all black. It's such a lame look. Everything about them, from their masks to their promos, seems really lame. Nothing, their masks don't fit right. Their promos don't seem like it's natural. And it just seems like what's their gimmick? That they're just a bunch of badasses and they're kind of too small and they don't look right. And everything just looks kind of low rent and like they're thinking of everything at the last minute. You know why indie wrestling doesn't like Retribution? It's self-loathing. Because Retribution is everything that indie wrestling tends to be nowadays. Ding, 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 ding. This has been the Platinum Pinfall.